Welcome to Montreal Rocks. And today, very happy to have a band called New Candies. Now, New Candies is a band not from around here, not from Montreal, definitely, but based out of Venice in Italy. And we have with us today Fernando Nuti, also known as Nandy. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I like to start at the beginning. I like to get the origin story of who Nandy is. So when we normally grow up, we're often surrounded by the music that our parents listen to. But at one point, something changes. Was there maybe a band or a song where that song or that band awoke you to a whole new musical universe, something that you could call your own?
Yes, there has been a turning point in my experience. I would say that the most important musical influence came from my father. My father was always listening to music and rock music, and I had records around me since I was a child. And I remember him listening to music with the headphones and enjoying it. And when I was a kid, I didn't really understand it. Obviously, sometimes it was coming out from the speakers, but he was listening very loud music with with headphones to don't disturb the neighborhood. But so I had already some albums, rock albums, in my father collections. And I remember one time after school, I chat with some of my schoolmates, and they told me, "Have you ever listened to Nirvana?" And I was like, "Oh, I think my father has a record." And I came back home and I picked Nevermind and I listened to it for the first time. I didn't know anything about the band. I didn't know who Kurt Cobain was, anything. I just put Nevermind on and push play, and I was doing my homework. And I remember just being blown away. Yeah, Smells Like Teen Spirit, In Bloom, Come As You Are. And then there was Breathe that I didn't really like in the beginning, so I was going back. I was listening to the first 3 songs in loop for a whole evening. And that was everything changed after that for me. Because music till that point wasn't something I was paying attention much. But that, yeah, Nevermind changed everything to me.
And of course, in school, you're kind of forced to play music. You still play the fiddle fruit? Sorry, flute.
I don't know nowadays, but yeah, when I was in school, I was forced to play what's the English word for that one?
I think they call it the recorder.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, I didn't like that instrument. No, it wasn't my thing.
Same thing when I was in school, we had to learn. I just called it the flute, and it was just a little Yamaha flute, and I kept getting in trouble because I'd go kind of sneak onto the drums and start banging away at the drums because a lot of my family are drummers, so I wanted to kind of pick that up. And no, I was stuck with everybody was doing the flute, but that doesn't really, give you a love for music. But then you went from the flute to, I mean, eventually even the sitar. Obviously the guitar as well. What attracted you to the sitar?
Well, the sitar came when I started to listen to the Beatles and Brian Jonestown Massacre. I would say Brian Jonestown Massacre have been the band that made me pick up the sitar. But I was enjoying the Beatles too, the George Harrison songs. Yeah, I think at the time, now I don't play it anymore. But at the time I was really interested in the Indian music, but I didn't listen to Indian music. I was listening to the pop rock influenced by Indian music. So yeah, I think I found some, I don't know, that instrument you just play and it does everything on his own, so magic comes out instantly. So
well, it has a wave of peace to it, that maybe from the culture or the mythology of those that play it. You just feel like at peace when you hear it.
Yeah, it's true.
So eventually you guys, you and your football mates, you got together and you started the band and you started playing. I think even at the beginning you were playing covers just to, learn your instruments, but you didn't really like covers. So for a year you were stuck playing covers, but then you said that you created your first original song. What was the feeling that you had when you created that first finished product, that first song that was truly yours? How did that feel?
Um,
Do you remember what it was?
oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what was my first song, to be honest. But to answer your question, I think um, I didn't really feel like I was a musician until I was trying to do something that was my own. When I was playing covers, I was just it was just a learning process to me. I didn't feel like I was doing something really in the end. Um, and then when I eventually tried to do something on my own, I felt like I was possessed by the covers that I was playing, because I was used to use my right hand, that is the rhythm hand, as Noel Gallagher, for example, or Kurt Cobain, or
Mm.
whoever I was playing covers of. So I was like, okay, this is it. I'm not gonna play covers anymore. Now I'm gonna concentrate on us, on me, and and develop my style. Um, but yeah, we had the first songs done, yeah, I felt good. It felt right in a way. It
Mm.
felt like it was worth doing it, even if they weren't as good as the covers probably. I was like, it's okay. It's better to play my own songs than other people's songs.
And it takes a lot of courage to step out of that comfort zone and to actually put something that you created, because you can't fall back on saying, well, yeah, if you don't like the song, I didn't write it, they did. But when you actually write the song, it takes a lot of courage to go out there and actually do something, that put something out there that you did. So thank you for going through that and crossing over, because obviously now you're putting out a lot of new songs. In fact, there's a new record that just came out, which is really easy to listen to. It's a really fun record. It brings us nostalgia back, and of course, the name of the band, New Candies, we know comes from partly from this,
Yeah, kind
uh,
of.
and also from Sid Barrett, another one of your inspirations. But
Yeah,
what's interesting is that this band, the Jesus and Mary Chain, it was formed 3 years before you were born.
yeah,
So, do you remember the first song that you heard from this band? Maybe it was Just Like Honey or some other song. For me, I think it was Just Like Honey.
yeah. For me, the same. Yeah, it was that record, and also Darklands, and um, Automatic too. I listened to that record, but yeah, it was Psycho Candy, the main one that I listened.
How did you discover them? Is what I was curious about.
Oh, I think I discovered them because of the Ravenettes. I was reading some interviews with the Ravenettes, and they were saying one of their influences was the Jesus and Mary Chain, and also other bands that I like. They were mentioning them all the time. Black Rebel, Motorcycle Club, I remember
Mhm.
mentioning them. But my first, I mean, the Ravenettes have been more important to me than Jesus and Mary Chain, to be honest, because I discovered them earlier, and they are similar in some ways, but I really like them.
And one thing that I respect about you is you play your songs. I think you've mentioned this in the past. First and foremost for yourself. You don't try to create a song that's going to please others. Most people try to write songs that everybody else is going to love, but you guys write the songs that you want to hear. Why is being true to yourself important for your band?
I think there is no other way to do music. Actually, I mean, I can't put myself uh, in the head of the musicians that try to write a hit. I don't understand that, and I don't think it can work for me. It's fine if it works for them, but it doesn't work for me. Um, I'm not a really productive songwriter, to be honest. I just wait for the natural melody to come to my mind. Sometimes without playing. Actually, most of the time I'm not playing when melodies come to my mind. So I'm waiting for that moment naturally. And sometimes it takes months. Sometimes in my month I have 5 ideas. I like Charles Bukowski, and he used to say, "Don't try." Okay, I like that suggestion. I'm not trying to write, never. I'm just waiting for the songs to come, and then
Yeah.
obviously there is a whole other job to do with the whole band where we all crafted the
And you
song
add
together.
layers, right?
Yeah, I mean, they are mine in the beginning, just the the
The
gen.
embryo, the baby.
Yeah, but then is every song is the child of all of us, because everyone has his own touch, and there are 4 minds thinking about a song and not just one. And I think that helps um, higher the barrier, the level.
Bar, yeah. Yeah. Brings a higher bar to the level.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't even remember the saying now, but you're right. Uh, one thing that I thought was interesting too, and speaking of the writing process, is that when you write music, you see images and colors. Let's take 2 of your songs. You have Zyko and Begin Again, which are very different feel to them. How would you describe those visually as you hear them?
Uh, okay, when I to me it's not like I have a color with a chord or with a sound. It's more like I tend to visualize things connected to music, and for example, but they are very simple. And answering your question, to me Zyko is like a, I don't know, a big mass of black probably, I don't know, or something that is big and heavy, because that's the sound, is like a tank, you know.
Mm.
But and also there is this marching rhythm that to me reminds me of a military march in a way. And so all those influences help me create an image connected to the song. um, and those images eventually influence the lyrics sometimes.
Mm.
But for example, Begin Again, we had difficulties actually recording it, because we tried different roads, and we ended up we weren't satisfied because it wasn't calm enough. We wanted a calm feeling, a sweet, gentle feeling, but we tried with normal drums, for example, but they were too heavy. And I remember with the guys, we were like, oh, it sounds too heavy. We need to soften it to make it more gentle. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's how it is for me.
So the songs will create an image in your mind, not the other way around, oftentimes.
Uh, I mean, to me, it's like an answer a question all the time. Sometimes there is a starts from like a melody idea, and then you play with the band, and there are some new elements coming up, and you start to have maybe a few words when you are singing like gibberish, you know, like to
Mhm.
trying to, when you are mumbling lyrics. And then maybe there is one word that is super cool, or a sentence or something like that, and you're like, okay, I from this point, then you develop the image, and the song is like forth and back all the time. And it's very fascinating. But also, for example, sometimes other songs come and they are ready, like in an afternoon sometimes, and those are rare moments, to be honest. But those are special too. I remember, for example, a song from our first record, the latest of the in the track list, called Purple Turtle on Canvas. That one came in an afternoon and was pretty much done. And when I played it to the band, we didn't had to do much work, you know, because was done. Yeah.
Hmm. Um, Speaking of, the imagery, you are a graphic artist, and in fact, you contributed to this album behind me. the look of it, and I guess all the other singles too. You have a part in creating the covers. How has the graphic arts contributed to the band apart from just the covers?
Yeah, actually, the latest records I work with my partner Laura Gamba, and so she helped me drawing. The concept was more from me, but we work on the artwork together. And to me, since I'm a graphic designer, I think it helps me visualize music, because graphic design is not like painting abstract art. You need to be more precise, and you have some rules, and you can I think there is a connection between making music and graphic arts. I don't know, I think they are similar. uh, to me, if a painter is an abstract painter, then compare if we put the same person doing music, maybe he will end up playing avant-garde music,
Or
or
jazz, where they kind of just
yeah,
go off.
music, instrumental music, I would say. But when you are in the pop rock world, then you have some rules, and those rules also uh, help you
They
in
help you
your
define, I would think, define that your sound, because you have,
exactly.
oh, I mean,
Having rules is good, I think sometimes. Oh, no, I'm not saying there are like super straight rules, but you know, I don't know why, but we need to have a chorus and a verse and pre-chorus and bridge, these kind of things. We try to change a little bit, but you can't really go far away, or you
yeah,
end up.
no, that structure makes it enjoyable for the listener, and we can enjoy it. Uh,
Yeah.
we're going to stay with the arts while we're at it. One of the filmmakers you really enjoy is Nicholas Winding. I don't know how to say the last name, Refn.
Yeah, actually, I have the poster behind me of him.
So I'm going to give you a quote, and we can maybe talk about it. He goes, "I think that art is an act of violence, and the more emotionally engaged you are in a piece of art, the more violent it feels." Obviously, we're not promoting violence here, but this, how, you said this yourself before, obviously inspired by him. How is art like violence? Like, how do you push yourself outside of your boundaries?
Oh, I think what I like about that sentence is that we are humans are animals, and we have instincts, and those instincts sometimes are aggressive, but since we are evolved, we are not aggressive anymore towards each other, and so we are using art to uh, to be aggressive in a way. Like, for example, the sound of an electric guitar is not sweet, is something that can be frightening. uh, so in that sense, I think is the sentence is true. It helps us to express our anger in a way, or our primitive instincts that we can't express anymore, because we we are evolved. That's basically what I think.
I think a lot of the musicians I've spoken to will also use music as a way to express themselves, maybe look into their own lives, maybe look at a problem that they've had to face in the past, and they kind of attack it in a way, in a sense of really trying to figure out what it all means. And they use song and lyrics to kind of express themselves. And eventually that memory will take on a new meaning because of doing that work, which is why I enjoy speaking to musicians, because I find that a lot of musicians are working on themselves. They're trying to go through their emotions as opposed to flee from them. Is that the case?
Yeah, sure. um, at the end of the day, I think everything is very personal when you are writing music. Obviously, the whole band, every one of us puts something that comes from his own. But in my case, since I'm the one writing the lyrics, and um, then maybe there is a little bit more of me in the meaning, or some references to my life, or dreams, or things that I care and I think are important to say, or just to reference. I'm not really speaking about myself all the time, to be honest. Maybe I'm trying to describe feelings that I feel sometimes, or situation that I felt, and that I remember still. Yeah, that's a yeah.
Some artists will almost like create a character to live out those feelings in the song, which not might sometimes be the truth and sometimes be a little bit of fiction and a mixture of both, which kind of goes back to the making of movies. And again, another quote from Nicholas is, art has the power to influence and to make you react to something that you normally wouldn't concern, worry, or even think about, or wouldn't want to talk about. So I see a link there between movie making, like what Nicholas does, and writing songs. What are some of the topics that you want to discuss when you're writing the songs? I mean, we talked about how sometimes it might be a part of your life. Are there some topics that you really like to work through in a song? For example, on this latest album, Vyvyd.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed now that we reach our fourth record, that the themes are have something in common in every, are pretty much the same, not the same, but there are things in common in every record. And I think there is always a study of identity, or something like that. Like there is this the image of the mirror, or reflections and these kind of things. Like basically is ask the question is who we are, or very primeval questions, I would say. Because to me, music helps me, more than answering, helps me ask questions in a way.
Interesting.
Yeah, like it's more like I'm contemplating reality with music, more than saying what this reality is, and I try to have a dance with the listener in the reality. That's how I see it. The latest record, Vyvyd, I think we wanted to put the attention towards what is good, what is bad, what is evil, and
The
everything
duality.
else. What? Sorry.
The duality.
Yeah, these things, like for example, I don't like when people are very fast in judging things. Oh, this is bad, this is good. To give you an example, for some people, masochism or sadism is good. They like it. And for some other people, that can be something that is wrong or sick. And who are who are you to say that something is wrong? If a person likes it, it's fine. So what is right, what is wrong is very personal in the end. That's basically what we were trying to say. And I'm another example is the movie Blue Velvet. I really like that movie by David Lynch, and there is this relationship between Dorothy Valens, the Isabella Rossellini, and Beaumont, the main character, and there is they like each other. Then she asks him to hit her, and she doesn't want to. I mean, that scene, I remember it. I was like, it was very interesting to me.
I think people are, it's true, people today are quick to judge, they're quick to take sides. I mean, it is important to have your own belief system and to live by it. But I think the important thing is not to judge others or feel that we're superior just because we have chosen differently. I think that's one of the reasons why there's so much problems in the world, is people feel superior. They feel like they're right and everybody else is wrong. But it is okay to stick to your own beliefs, and that's fine. But don't talk down to others. That's the whole definition of love, is loving people for who they are. We don't have to love what they do. But we can at least love who they are, and that's fine.
Yeah.
One thing that I noticed, if we go back to that cover, there's those green lines that are the eyes, which makes you feel like a little bit of, like you said, a little bit of that tribal warrior stance. And to me, the image also looks like somebody putting out their roots. So it's as if they're, I don't know what was the idea behind the image of the cover.
Well, I remember thinking for this record, we need eyes on the cover because in our previous records we didn't have any face or eyes. So I was, I mean, there is kind of an eye in the first record, but not two. And that I want something that was pointing to the person looking at the cover. And then I think I was fascinated by Egypt and something that could remind a a mythological past, and also I wanted a godless figure, a god figure, and that with something related to the sun.
Hmm.
So that was some all those influences uh, where the came together in the cover artwork.
Well, let's geek out a little bit about some gear. I know you like a lot of gear. Um, Tell us about 3001: A Space Odyssey.
I don't have that pedal anymore, but yeah, it used to be my main delay pedal. Oh, actually, it's not that. That is not the real name of the pedal. Is the real name is Repeater, is by a guy from Treviso called Great Dress Boy. But I changed the look of the pedal. Sometimes I like to personalize my gear, and so I named the pedal after Stanley Kubrick, basically, because I'm a big fan of Kubrick.
So your first Instagram post, which I like to always check out, was a Yamaha 4-track. Uh,
Ah.
I don't. I'm curious. What were you recording with that 4-track on
Oh, now I
cassettes?
don't. Yeah, now I don't use it anymore, but I use it alone and also with a band to record the first record demos and the second record demos. Some. Yeah, it was my first tool to record demos. That one.
So you guys have a scene down in Italy. We've interviewed Moa recently, and there's a few other bands that are kind of in that style around there. But what I found interesting is that a lot of I don't think the scene for your style of music is very big, if I understand correctly. Is that right?
Yeah, is right.
So you're still kind of a bit of a niche or a niche band, but I find that sometimes being that way kind of I heard this saying the other day that I thought was amazing. They go, you don't have to be the best because there'll always be somebody better than you, but you should strive to be different because if you're different, then you're the only one. So being a band in your style can sometimes create really good fans. I mean, you guys have a lot of support. Your shows are getting bigger and bigger, especially in the UK. Uh, who would you say is your biggest fan? Or what area is really embracing the new Candy sound?
I would say the States, to be honest, or
Oh,
North
really?
America.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, yeah, but I will also say the UK, Germany, Austria. Those are the top four, in my
Hmm.
opinion. But also in Italy is going well. France and Australia, um, and the Netherlands and Belgium. But yeah, we are striving in Spain because we haven't played there much. So we will play there in February. So hopefully
Yeah,
we
you have a
will.
tour coming up mostly on that side of the pond. So
Yeah.
you'll be pretty busy. You're looking forward to touring again? Well, have you started touring again or you'll be starting soon?
We just play one show for now in Barcelona. We are gonna play a couple in Italy, and then we have some festivals in Europe. One in Switzerland and two in Germany, and then and one in Bulgaria. And then we are gonna, yeah, we're gonna be on tour in December and again in February, and end of January. And we are gonna play Spain and the Netherlands, and other countries.
Hopefully you'll find some time for Canada.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
One
think
day.
I think in May, hopefully in May.
I want to end with two questions. One is just a little quirky, fun one. What's your favorite candy?
Uh, my favorite candy. Oh, licorice. I
Ooh,
think
red or black? Red or
the
black?
spiral one. The spiral one. The black.
Oh, the black. Oh, that's a.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm a red. I'm on the red side, so
Okay.
so we can share anyway.
Yeah.
Lastly, I like to play a little something called fantasy rock band. Now,
Mhm.
you've probably heard of fantasy sports, fantasy football, fantasy hockey, whatever. Um, fantasy rock band is about choosing a band from people that are dead or alive. I would like to see who would be your ultimate band. We need a singer, guitarist, bassist, and drummer.
All right. Uh, Singer Lou Reed.
Hmm. Oh yeah, you're a Velvet Underground fan. I remember now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Huge. I love the Velvet Underground, and I like Lou Reed because he seems like he's talking when he's singing, and I like also the lyrics of the Velvet Underground, and yeah, I think he's amazing. Then a guitarist. Well, I really like Peter Armstrong from the Dandy Warhols. Um,
You got the tour
yeah,
together too, so you got to see him live.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a great friend, and I love his style. Um, I think he's very diversified. I don't know. He's able to be gentle and doing noises, but also heavier sometimes. I like the Dandy Warhols' ability to play different kind of music in their records. Bass player, I really like Alex James from Blur.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, I like Blur bass lines, but also, for example, I'm not a fan, but I like the Radiohead bass player. Uh, but I'm not a fan of Radiohead.
Oh, them fighting words. No, just kidding.
And drummer, I would say an Italian guy called Luca Ferrari. I like him. He's the drummer from the band Verdena. They are like a grungy style band.
Okay.
Uh, I saw them playing live, and every time I'm stuck looking at him all the time. He's amazing, and very, very creative also in his style. So yeah.
I would really like to see that band. It seems like an interesting one. The reason why I always ask this question, I don't say it at the beginning, but at the end, is I don't like the question, who are your favorite influences? So this is my way of getting your influences in an indirect way to make it a little bit more interesting. So I can see
Yeah.
that you're, uh, you've got the Velvet Underground, you've got that style from quite a while ago, but also you're mixing in some of the recent things, but you've definitely got a style and a genre, and it shows in the music. I really suggest that the listeners pick up the new album, Vyvyd. It's amazing. I believe you still have some vinyl copies on sale on Bandcamp. What's the best way to reach you or to?
Oh, it's on our website, newcandies.com. And if you are from the States, there is Little Cloud Records selling our record, and everywhere else on our website.
All right, well, give it a listen. It's so easy to listen to. You're going to have it on repeat. And of course, the videos have a lot of imagery, so we can definitely put that all together, and it really makes for a fun listen. So I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for being with us. And we look forward to seeing you on tour. And I hope that you just keep getting better and better as always, and get more and more fans.
Thank you for having me. Thanks a lot.